Welcome to Week 10 of the BTFL Season 2. Washington Generals host the Milwaukee Warriors. We have Reggie Brooks starting out, getting the ball over the middle, brushing off of defenders, going poof, 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 getting it to midfield. Dan Marino would step back, step into the pocket, throw it over the middle to the other Brooks, Bill Brooks inside the red zone, and Dan Marino would finish off the drive, giving it to his favorite receiver, Bill Brooks, for the touchdown, 7-0. Sean Salisbury-Stake makes a mistake early. He would throw an interception to Albert Lewis, and then Marino would finish off this drive, throwing it over the middle to Jim Jensen, his tight end, for the touchdown, 2-possession lead for the Milwaukee Warriors. Sean Salisbury-Stake, play-action fake, throws it over the middle to Curtis Conway. Curtis Conway gets it close to the red zone. William Thomas would sack Sean Salisbury-Stake, and then he would do it again. This would lead to a Mike Kofer made field goal. It is 14-3 in favor of the Milwaukee Warriors. Dan Marino would get sacked by Dwayne Bickett, but he would get injured. This is not a good sight for Milwaukee, who's already been slipping, losing their Hall of Fame quarterback. He would be replaced by Neil O'Donnell from Super Bowl 30 fame. Mark Duper, on the other hand, would catch this deep pass from Sean Salisbury-Stake to around the 20-yard line, and then Mel Gray would get the handoff up the right side, and Derek Fenner would finish it off for the touchdown. Mel Gray would get the ball down the right side, flip to the left side. Down 4 points are the Washington Generals inside the 15-yard line, and Sean Salisbury-Stake had a nasty play-action fake, throws it to Derek Fenner down the left side. He gets another touchdown at 17-14. Neil O'Donnell, in the shut of his own end zone, throws it down the right side to Mark Clayton as the cornerback misses the ball entirely. And then this would be a throw down the right side all the way to Mark Clayton by Neil O'Donnell. But after the drive stalls, Jeff Jaeger would tie up the ball game at 17-all. The ball would go up the middle. Rick Fehene would fumble, recovered by the Washington Generals in Milwaukee territory. Mike Kofer adds the field goal, 20-17. Next drive for the Washington Generals, Mark Duper would get the ball down the left side on the Salisbury-Stake pass. Sean Salisbury, no rush in his face, throws the ball to Mel Gray, and he goes whoop, bobs and weaves around defenders, gets it inside the 5, and then Fenner with his third touchdown of the game. Neil O'Donnell needing to get more points on the board for the Milwaukee Warriors. The game is slipping away. Jeff Jaeger would add the field goal. It's good. 7-point ball game for the Washington Generals. Mark Duper would catch this ball in traffic, move the chains, and then a sick play-action fake. Curtis Conway catches the ball down the right side, and this would lead to another Mike Kofer field goal. He's been perfect on the day. Neil O'Donnell down by 10 points. He throws it down the right side to Mark Clayton, and he could go all the way, but it might be a little too early to celebrate for Milwaukee because the onside kick would be recovered by Washington. Washington wins 30-27. Washington is 4-6. Warriors are 5-5.
Miami Riptide and the Charlotte Wildcats. Tim Lester returning for the lineup for Miami. Let's get this game going. Charlotte with the ball first. Harold Green making a few guys miss, picking up a first down on the next play. Warren Moon takes the snap, and Green is loose out of the backfield. He'll make the catch at the 5 and get in the end zone. A quick 7-0 lead for Charlotte. Jim Everett and the Miami Riptide trying to answer back on their first drive. Deep down the field to Barnett. It gets right over the defensive back. He makes the catch at the 40, down to about the 33. Jerome Bettis, the bus gets rolling here as he rumbles down to the 20-yard line. Jim Everett back to pass again. He finds Sharp down the middle. That's a touchdown. Sterling Sharp right down the seam, tying this one up at 7. Jerome Bettis again down that near sideline. He makes a couple guys miss down to the 40-yard line. This drive's moving for Miami. Sharp down the middle of the field again. Sterling Sharp working the middle of the field. His second touchdown of the game in that many drives. However, the PAT is no good. That leaves the score at 13-7. Everett up to the line of scrimmage, deep down the field. Sterling Sharp again. He gets down to the 25-yard line, and Jerome Bettis up the middle makes a few guys miss, breaks a tackle, and he will park that bus in the end zone, putting Miami up 20-7. Later in the game, Jerome Bettis down that near sideline again, putting them in field goal position. This one is through the uprights, 23-7. Miami adding to the lead. Everett deep down the field to Barnett. He makes the catch around the 45-yard line. He will pick up a big first down. Working in the red zone now. Sterling Sharp down the middle of the field down to the 1, and Jerome Bettis caps it off with another touchdown. Miami running away with this 30-7. Sterling Sharp on their next drive with a big first down. Everett looking to put this one away. Cooper deep down the field makes the catch at the 15. He will get down to the 1-yard line where Jerome Bettis again punches it in. 37-7. Charlotte looking to stop the bleeding here. Warren Moon deep down the field to Andre. Bad Moon rising down to the 5-yard line, and now Charlotte is operating in the red zone. Warren Moon takes it himself, and he will get into the end zone, stopping the bleeding here as Charlotte then goes for the onside kick to try and get another possession. It bounces around before Charlotte does, in fact, recover it. Warren Moon deep down the field to Moore. He picks up the first down on the curl and gets down to about the 30-yard line. After a field goal by Charlotte is off the upright and no good, that is where we leave you folks. Miami runs away with this one, 44-17.
Detroit Mustangs against the New York Empire, who are on a 7-game skid, begin with Cody Carlson of the Mustangs throwing it down the right side, intended for his receiver, Anthony Carter, and he could go all the way. Guys are falling at his feet. The Mustangs go up 7-0. Next drive, however, Cody Carlson is intercepted by Jarvis Williams. This would lead to Steve DeBerg throwing it down the left side to Flipper Anderson, and then Gary Brown taking the handoff. Fake sweep down the left side. Another handoff, this time to tricky Ricky Irvins, who bobs and weaves around defenders, getting it inside the 20. This would lead to a field goal make by Scott Norwood. 4-point game for the Mustangs. Cody Carlson takes the shotgun snap, throws it down the right side to Ron Hall, the tight end, jumping catch inside the 40-yard line. And then Cody Carlson at around the 29 throws it down the left side. Touchdown, Eddie Brown for the touchdown. 14-3, 11-point game for the Mustangs. Steve DeBerg throws it down the left side to Flipper Anderson. Jumping catch, his favorite receiver in this game. And Flipper Anderson gets the ball inside the 2-yard line, and Ricky Irvins bums it in for the touchdown. 14-10. Another interception here, this time by Dale Carter of the New York Empire. Steve DeBerg would survey the field, throw it down the left side. Jumping catch, and it's a touchdown for Johnny Mitchell. 17-14. New York has rallied. Cody Carlson throws it down the right side to Otis Anderson, and he's going up the elevator inside the 50, inside the 40, and Cody Carlson would hand it off again to Otis Anderson. He bobs and weaves around defenders, gets it inside the 1. Cody Carlson takes the shotgun snap inside the 5-yard line, and Anthony Carter gets his second touchdown of the game. It's 21-17. Gary Brown with the catch from Steve DeBerg, getting the ball close to midfield, and Gary Brown would get another handoff, but he would be injured. He walks off the field with help from the medical staff, and Dexter Carter would replace him. Tricky Ricky Irvins is the other back for the New York Empire. Bobs and weaves, shows his agility, gets it inside the 30. Steve DeBerg, play action fake. Tricky Ricky Irvins with the catch at the 11. DeBerg would hand it off. No, wait, he would play action fake it, throws it to Flipper Anderson to around the 2-yard line. They're going to bring out the measuring crew, and he's about a half a yard short. 4th down, thinking it's a last-ditch effort. Dexter Carter gets the handoff. He does not get it. So Otis Anderson this time for Detroit. He bobs and weaves. He goes off defenders, but he would drop the ball. It's on the turf. It's a fumble. Recovered by Jarvis Williams. We have another 4th down here for Steve DeBerg. Last-ditch effort. DeBerg would throw incomplete in the end zone. Side retired. And the Detroit Mustangs will get the ball back again. Up by 4. Cody Carlson in the end zone. Throws it deep down the right side to Anthony Carter. And he could go all the way. He won't be caught today. He's got the touchdown. 28-17 is the score in this game. Mustangs have 4 wins. Empire have 2. Pittsburgh Renegades will go to Baltimore to play the Bulls. Reggie Cobb comes back from injury, the running back for the Pittsburgh Renegades. First, Eric Ball gets the flip to the right side. He gets close to the 50-yard line. Leonard Russell will catch the ball down the left side on the flats. He gets inside the red zone, inside the 5, and Leonard Russell will go, get off Me, as he pounds his way into the end zone for the touchdown. It's 7-0. John Elway steps up into the pocket, rolls out. He's running into Baltimore territory at around the 36-yard line. Elway throws it to Novacek, and Novacek gets it inside the red zone, but he would get sacked by current Washington Commanders head coach Ron Rivera. This would lead to a field goal made by Jason Elam. It is 7-3, 4-point game. Derek Russell would get the flip to the left, fake jet sweep, and he would get the ball into Pittsburgh territory. Rich Gannon, the cannon, throws it to Irving Fryer, jumping in the end zone. He's got the touchdown. It's 14-3 Baltimore Bulls. John Elway steps up, throws it to Beebe. Old Reliable gets it to around the 41-yard line. He fights a tackle, but then John Elway goes back to pass. He throws it down the left side to Michael Jackson, but the ball lands on the ground. He's not moonwalking today. Recovered by Tom Carter of the Bulls. 14-3 for Baltimore. Rich Gannon, the cannon, fires deep, wide open Irving Fryer, and he could go all the way. Rich Gannon, the cannon, to Irving Fryer. It's a 21-3 ball game. Next drive for Pittsburgh. John Elway would throw a successful pass this time to Michael Jackson inside of Baltimore territory. John Elway would throw it to Novacek. A guy dives in the middle of the field. He can't tackle him, and Novacek, the big guy, makes it into the end zone, 21-10. Next drive for Pittsburgh. Elway throws it over the middle to Jay Novacek, who is making better on the last drive where he got the touchdown. Elway play action rollout, throws it to Beebe, but the ball's intercepted by Dwayne Woodruff, and Dwayne Woodruff gets it to around the 20-yard line where Rich Gannon, the cannon, scans the field in the shotgun, throws it to Mark Ingram, and Mark Ingram burns the defense to get close to the red zone. And Rich Gannon, the cannon, play action fake, rollout, bootleg, waits in the middle. Marv Cook is open. He's got the touchdown. It is 28-10. Next drive for Baltimore. Leonard Russell will get the ball down the right side. He gets tackled and he's injured. He would be replaced by Greg Robinson to be the running back. And Rich Gannon, the cannon, steps up into the pocket, throws it to Mark Ingram, who's wide open over the middle. And Mark Ingram makes it inside the 30-yard line. Eric Ball would get the flip to the right, and Eric Ball would get inside the 5, and Greg Robinson would get the touchdown, 35-10. Elway steps up in Baltimore territory, gives it to Old Reliable Don Beebe. He's got the touchdown. Onside kick, and Pittsburgh recovers. And Pittsburgh would get the ball inside Baltimore territory. John Elway to Novacek. He's got the touchdown, second touchdown of the game. Rich Gannon, the cannon, surveys the field, no pressure in his face, throws it to Eric Ball, who makes the catch behind two defenders. And then Rich Gannon, the cannon, with play action, roll out, bootleg. Marv Cook gets the ball over the middle. 3 players in this game got 2 touchdowns. Baltimore would win 42-24. Bulls are 3-7. Renegades are 4-6.
Good football game in upstate New York. Boston Eagles at the Buffalo Stampede. We pick up the action early in the first quarter. Going deep to Hurst, the pass is caught all the way inside the 20-yard line. A big play early from fullback Garrison Hurst, who gets back the defense and sets up the go-ahead score. Vinny Testaverde has had an up-and-down campaign. He's completing just 45% of his passes, but does find the fullback again, leading this Buffalo drive. And this, for the Stampede, late in the BTFL season, is a must-win football game. Brian Blades makes the grab, and Buffalo jumps in front in the first quarter, 14-0 at home. Boston comes back. Craig with the deep shot to Randall Hill for his 7th touchdown grab of the year. And the Eagles are on the board, but off a missed PAT is 14-6. In the second quarter now, here's Craig. Another long ball for the Boston offense. And he completes the pass there. Craig with 20 touchdown passes to just 11 interceptions this year. He checks it down to Johnny Hector, and it leads to a field goal. Which yet again, Chip Lohmiller, who's had a great season, misses another kick. Still 14-6. Deep ball to Altoon into traffic, and it's caught for the first down. Leads to another Pete Stojanovic kick, and that's no good. Ironically, in such a game of great kickers, there's been nothing but misses early. Johnny Hector caps off this drive with a touchdown, his second of the year, in favor of Ernest Biner, who has been part of an injury-ravaged Boston club this year. 14-13 and a big comeback for Boston late in this ball game. 2:30 remaining in the quarter. That being the third, it's a fumble recovered by the Boston Eagles. And the kick, of course, in this sloppy football game is no good. So it's a real nail-biter here in the second half. Garrison Hurst gets by the defense and he stopped inside the 5. And they could not score a touchdown off of that. Pete Stoyanovich drills the field goal. Vinny Testaverde in Buffalo gets the ball back, but Hurst goes down with an injury on the following Buffalo possession with the team up by 4. They make a sub, and Kenneth Davis, part of a injury-ravaged backfield, he's now into the ball game. This ball picked off. Joey Browner had 2 interceptions in this one, and Buffalo takes over up by 4. Al Toon gets by the defense and extends the lead to 2 scores. Under 4 minutes left in a nail-biter here. Boston needs a big play, and they got it. Mervin Fernandez, an incredible season for him, about 30 yards a catch, puts him into the red zone, and there is Hill for the score. 1-score game with the Eagles down and under a minute left in the game. Craig gets the ball back for him, but as mentioned, Browner had a big day, 2 interceptions. There's his second, and just to ice the cake here, this pass to Toon, good for the score. The Buffalo Stampede pick up a huge home win against the Boston Eagles by the final of 31-20.
Chicago Chiefs hosting the Cincinnati Rampage, starting out with Jim McMahon running out of the pocket, throwing it down the left side to John Taylor, the Hall of Famer. He's at the 10, he's at the 5, he can't be caught, he's got the touchdown. 7-0 for the Chiefs. Celebrate there, Jim McMahon. Next drive for the Cincinnati Rampage, Mark Rippon. He would attempt to rip it deep, but the ball is intercepted by Cuckoo Kachu Mark Robinson, getting to the 50-yard line midfield. Jim McMahon play action rollout bootleg, throws it over the middle to Art Monk. He's painting a picture to around the 27-yard line, and Jim McMahon finishes it off. John Taylor, his second touchdown of the game, celebrate there in the end zone, 14-0. Mark Rippon would rip it over the middle to his tight end. Derek Walker splits the defense to around the 22-yard line. Handoff to Ricky Running Waters. He's got the touchdown. It is a 7-point ball game. Goset would get the snap for the punt, and he would get sacked. He can't punt it. Turnover on downs, and Roger Ruzek gets the field goal after the drive stalls. It's a 4-point ball game. McMahon wanting to air it out, but the ball is intercepted by Ricky Seal. And then Ricky Running Waters would get the handoff, and he fumbles. He's got fumble Ruski-itis here, picked up by Mark Boutte. Jim McMahon in the pocket, throws it down the left side again to John Taylor. He gets it inside the 25-yard line, and then Jim McMahon play action, rollout, bootleg, and Art Monk is painting a picture in the end zone. It's 21-10. Another pass by McMahon to Alonzo Highsmith to around the 15-yard line. And then Barry Sanders would get his touchdown over the middle, the human highlight reel, the human joystick. Both teams are 4-6. Chicago wins.